kind of prepared, but kind of not. So usually at night is when I have my gathering of thoughts and my playlist in my head going. And so last night I had figured out all the things I wanted to say, and right now they kind of escape me, which is how it goes. So anyway, it's kind of a rambly video, I guess, maybe just sharing kind of like where I've been mentally and physically the last few weeks, and sharing some symptoms and what's going on and how I'm coping. Hopefully I remember all that as I go. I thought about printing some of the song lyrics that have been encouraging to me, just because I want to have them printed. But I didn't do that either yet. So, okay, the last 2 weeks, I guess, have been rough. So I guess 2 weeks, maybe 3. Really, since October has been rough. I'm usually a positive and encouraging and optimistic person, but I haven't been so much because it's difficult. I keep giving myself pep talks. That's exhausting when you're mentally exhausted and your brain is like not your own, and you're trying to like pep it up. You got this, body, you could do this. That doesn't work very well. So I give myself pep talks. I'm a bottler, so this is part of my not bottling process. I don't know if that's the healthiest option, but somebody might need to hear what I'm saying. I don't know. So I'm really working hard on not bottling. I bottle for a few days, but it's not that I'm bottling necessarily. It's just I feel like I need to be quiet, and I need to think, and I need to process, and I need to grieve. So I do that. This junk is difficult. I went from, it's like I can see, this is what I was telling Jerry, it's like he can see too, the decline in my health since October, my dentist appointment, really. That set off whatever chaos, even more so than was already set off. It's a grieving process. So I know, like I used to dance nightly, pretty much. Saturday night was like 3 hours of dancing, maybe 4. Friday night was dancing. Monday was like a dance lesson, or Wednesday, I can't remember now, but it was pretty much like 6 days a week dancing. Go to the store, dance, you know. And then I try to think, well, is it related to COVID? But that doesn't fit. I used to walk like 5 or 6 miles several times a week. We used to walk around the neighborhood. We used to walk down to Monterey. We used to do all these things. And now it's like I can barely function. And that's disheartening. So I'm seeing like how it is, just the not homeschooling all the kids anymore, not homeschooling Josiah. Jerry has taken over homeschooling the kids, and I just homeschool Romea, and that's plenty right now because of my crazy. So the last week or two has been just, I'm like super inflamed. I don't even know what to do about it. Every time I eat, I react. Every time. The other day, I mean, that's how it's been I've been on AIP for 3 years, and I had like a few months that were good health-wise, but every day I react. I think I had one day where I didn't react. One. But now it's like every time I eat, no matter what I eat, I react. So it can be just throat clearing, drainage, itchy. I can react by touching the food, like radishes. I was gonna chop radishes and I reacted. So I'm like, okay, don't add that to my veggies. I have to take a slew of pills to not react. And even then I have breakthrough reactions. So I'm like, get it together. I keep telling myself, get it together. Actually, I haven't said that one lately. But, so that's a little discouraging. In the last 2 weeks especially, I have woken up, I feel like a 90-year-old corpse. I don't even know what that's supposed to feel like to be dead, like trying to get up and move when you're dead. That's not possible, I know, but it's like I am so stiff and my back just kills me. And I'm like, it feels like my bones are just like, I hate you. And so getting out of the bed is like an issue. Carrying my bag that has all my crazy rescue supplies is an issue. Walking down the stairs is an issue. Walking up the stairs is an issue. Just walking in general is an issue. Sitting down, if I sit down too long, it's like, So anyway, I added a different supplement to help with inflammation 3 days ago, and the next day, like the first night, the next day I woke up and I was able to like walk, and I was like, this is great. And then I took 2 the next morning or night, I can't remember, and I was actually able to gently jog up the stairs, and I was like, what? This is cool. This hasn't happened in like 3 weeks. So it's been a lot of processing and thinking and crying. Lots of crying. I don't think my family has seen so many tears from me in all of like our marriage and their lives and stuff. So I've been through some difficult things, like miscarriage and having my ovaries removed when I was 27, and the death of my mom and the death of my dad and grandma and stuff. But this junk, I don't know that it compares. It's like a different form of grieving, because I see how things were and now I see how things are, and I'm like, it's difficult to see the future and how the future can be whenever you're like stuck in, I can't even walk down the stairs. Like, and some days I think I'm thinking well, and I'm totally not. And that's kind of funny, but it's kind of scary. Jerry will text me and say, "Oh, could you pick this up from the store?" And I'll say, "Yes." And then I get to the store and I don't pick it up because I don't remember. And so I'll think of it like 4 days later. I'm like, oh shoot, you asked me to get whatever from the store and I just remembered. And he's gracious. But I'm like, this is not good. So, but I will share that I have been the only thing so I'm a bottler, and sometimes I get upset. I don't know if I'm angry or not. I'm a little perturbed at doctors because, like, I'll go and I'm like, okay, I know I have a limited amount of time. I give you a paper that tells you all the things that I'm experiencing, and they're like, oh, that's rare. And I'm like, why the heck can't the rare person be physically sitting in front of you? I don't understand how much more crazy I need to endure before you realize, like, something is terribly wrong here. Something is terribly wrong. But all my tests show up like I'm a normal person. Well, except that one, but then it went back down and it's normal now. So that's disheartening, because you go to these people and you're like, help me. And they're like, exercise. And I'm like, I don't have the freaking energy to exercise. Like, I know what I need to do. My brain wants to do those things sometimes, but I physically can't because I have to choose. Am I going to walk through the grocery store and buy groceries today? Or am I going to go for a walk around the neighborhood? There's no in between. I went for a walk the other morning, and then that night I was like, oh, I'd like to do one of those, like an exercise video that I like. It's a walk away the pounds video. I like it. I did not have the energy. I just sat on the couch like a bump on a log. But I'm like, okay, well, that's just how it has to be. So I'm spending time being quiet. That's what I feel like God wanted me to do. So let me think. There are some stories that have been encouraging to me, and I don't know that I've shared those yet because I kind of just tucked them in my heart. So I'll spend time praying because I'm a bottler, so I try to bottle it away from God, and I'm working really hard not to do that because that isn't good. I know that. So I'll be in the kitchen and I'm like cooking and I'm thinking and I'm trying. It's like I feel like I have to be one step ahead of all the crazy. Like I feel like I need to know what to expect. I don't even know if reading would help me know what to expect because it's just so random. So random. So there's an example, but I'll leave it. So anyway, I think I will talk about some of the symptoms that I'm experiencing, and then maybe I will share the stories of the encouragement. So I'll have to remember them, and it might make me cry. So I found this little questionnaire on the internet. Lovely internet. Mast cell activation syndrome. The reason I am pursuing this is because an allergy doctor mentioned it in 2017, but he thought me and Josiah had it. And I'm like, Josiah's adopted. It's a rare condition. Like, that doesn't make sense. You're crazy. And so I kind of ignored it. And now I'm thinking, like, this dude was right. Because I feel like with the weight loss study that I was in, it kind of highlighted the celiac sort of stuff, that I don't have celiacs, but I'm super gluten intolerant. And I feel like AIP has highlighted the histamine intolerance and just reacting to all the foods and basically all the world. Is how it feels. So there's been benefits, but it's definitely difficult. So anyway, I'll just read off some of these symptoms that I experience. Some of them are not daily. They wax and wane. So sometimes it's several of these things at one time, and sometimes it's just they're like spaced out. So usually I'll have like a migraine and brain fog and congestion, like throat drainage stuff. I always have nasal congestion. I'm on enough antihistamines to do some severe something good, and I'm still like congested. I don't understand. I have an appointment tomorrow, and hopefully this guy is understanding and helpful. So anyway, okay, symptoms. I've been sick for as long as I can remember. Ding. Food, drug, and chemical intolerances, especially fragrances. I will try to not share stories because it's easy. I'm already thinking of one. I went to Target 2 days ago. I went in the bathroom, and the smell of the fragrance was so intense, I got a serious headache. So I'm walking around with Joshua, and I'm feeling bloated and just disgusting. I was like, I have to go back to the bathroom. This is horrible. He's like, again? Yes, I have to go back to the bathroom, like now. And so it just messes, like headache and GI symptoms. And I was like, I almost am to the point where I need to buy sweatpants because I'm so bloated from the crazy. I did not buy sweatpants, mainly because they were $20, and I didn't want to spend $20 on a pair of sweatpants, so I just unbuttoned my pants and went to the bathroom. Too much info. Sorry, I didn't go into details. Too much. Okay, frequent family history of cancer, especially intestinal or bone marrow. My dad and my sister had cancer, but not bone marrow, or that it was lung and brain and other stuff. So frequent fatigue and malaise, whatever, however you say it, and chronic fatigue syndrome, infrequent infections, cold viruses, gut viruses as an infant, adolescent, or adult, generally feeling inflamed. I'm so inflamed, it's ridiculous. Hypersensitive to much in environment, including fragrances, perfumes, medications, insomnia, that was kind of in the past. Sense of being cold all the time. I'm always freezing, except right now because the heat is on and it's about to kill me because it's hot. Waxing and waning of symptoms, weight gain or loss. Weight gain or loss can go up or down. I have physically gained 35 pounds in the past, since October, with the dentist appointment. And that is upsetting because I'm like, all that hard work of like diet and exercise and eating all the right things and blah, 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 blah. I think all the right things. I thought all the right things. I have no idea what the right thing is anymore. Weight gain. Ringing in ears. This ear usually rings often. Is station tube dysfunction. If I get upset, I'm telling stories, but if I get upset, like if one child in particular upsets me, my ear will start like filling with fluid and I sound like Charlie Brown's teacher in my head, and my eyelids will start swelling like randomly. I can feel it. My voice will go hoarse. It's crazy. Eyeballs, conjunctivitis. I had the worst case of pink eye that my eye doctor had ever seen in his history of practicing. That was horrible. That was years ago. My eyelids itch. Like right now, my eyebrows are crazy. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with you. I told Jerry sometimes I feel like they're just going to crawl off my face because it's so horrible. They just itch so much, and my eyes itch and they crack my eyelids. Dry eyes in the past. Increased or decreased tearing. Sometimes my eyes just water like crazy, and sometimes they don't, but mostly they do. Sun sensitivity, tick or eyelid spasm. Every now and then those ones are like glug, 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 glug. Symptoms and traits: hoarseness, intranasal sores, nasal stuffiness all the time, nosebleeds, sometimes randomly, postnasal drip, rhinitis, however you say that. Sometimes I have extreme mucus production. I have termed it Niagara Falls because it's just like I will eat something and then all of a sudden, I don't even have to eat anything. Like we went to the beach once and it happened on Jerry's birthday of all things. How romantic. He opened the windows and my nose was just like, I hate you, die. And all the sinus drainage was just like, I just envisioned Niagara Falls like splashing down. And I'm like hacking and beating my chest to kind of break it up. It was horrible. Definitely memorable, but not in the way that I would hope that it would be memorable. And then I just hacked and coughed for like 4 hours. And had drainage and cleared my throat. Throat. Difficulty swallowing, itchy throat, sores on the tongue and mouth, throat swelling, vocal cord dysfunction. That's what one doctor said I had. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense with everything else. Voice change, like the hoarseness, and a throat tickle, or clearing my throat. Anytime I eat, I'm clearing my throat. Anytime. Symptoms and traits: angioedema, that's like swelling of some sort. Those little red spots, like cherry spots, like some people have them on their arms. Apparently that's a sign. I have it on my leg, and I forgot where else. I think on my arm or something. Chronic itching. Dermatographism. I don't know if I'm saying that properly, but before I was on antihistamines, if I scratched my arm, it would be red, red, red. I could write words on my arm and it would just pop up and stay red for hours. So that's how I know if my histamine level is high. I'll just like scratch and a red mark shows up. Also, if I wear, I'm doing it again, explaining, if I wear pants or socks, I have like the ring where the socks were on my foot for hours. Easy bruising, eczema or psoriasis. It's back because it's just here. Fungal skin infection, possibly. That's what they say this eyebrow stuff might be. I'm calling baloney. Hives in the past, itchiness, lichen planus. That's what they said my psoriasis was with the biopsy, so I don't know. Red face when wakening, or when awoken, or whatever, waken. Reddish or pale complexion. I am super pale, but I think that's just natural. Skin flushing. Before antihistamines, that was awful. Skin tags. Some, I hate those. That's gross. Warts. Cardiovascular symptoms and traits. Oh, that other one was skin. I have a normal heart rhythm. Sometimes it's rapid. Sometimes it skips beats if I lay on a certain side. Dizzy, edema, fainting or near fainting. Hot flushes. That's no fun. Increased pulse rate, lightheadedness, palpitations, spikes and drop in blood pressure, pulse or temperature. Yes, I'm suspecting POTS, but I'm not so certain. Respiratory, air hunger, asthma, can't catch a deep breath, a dry cough or a wet cough, because that happens too. Shortness of breath, wheezing, GI tract symptoms are abnormal cramping and bloating, diarrhea or constipation, difficulty swallowing. IBS is what they say, but I'm looking into that, and there's some studies that are showing that IBS could be a mast cell reaction, like an allergic type of reaction in the GI tract, which is very interesting because I'm like, that makes so much sense. GERD or acid reflux. I had acid reflux in the past. Malabsorption, nausea. Neurological is a big issue for me. Headaches, memory loss, migraines. I do get numbness and tingling in my hands and feet. Poor concentration. I don't even know how you say this word. Spells of cataplexy. I don't know. Suddenly becoming disconnected from or unresponsive to the world around you. I feel like I kind of live in that state, sort of. Just like I have to physically disconnect. Not entirely, but it's like any amount of stress and I'm like itching and crazy. Waxing and waning brain fog. Word finding difficulty. I told one doctor that I was having trouble like saying the wrong words and finding the right words, and they like the notes are like, if you read it, it's kind of like, this lady's crazy, she's having trouble finding words. And I'm like, I don't know, I'll try to tell the kid to put the clothes in the washing machine, and I'll say put the clothes in the dishwasher. And I'm like, and they just kind of like, Mom, that's funny, you said the wrong word. And I'm like, well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you, just figure it out, because I'm doing the best I can, people. Musculoskeletal Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS. That's like the hypermobility type of thing. I don't know that I have that, but I have like 7 of the 9 traits. Fibromyalgia is a possibility. Hypermobility. I guess this whole joint pain business is a new thing, but I think I've always had joint pain. It's just there's so much other crazy going on that I don't realize I have joint pain. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's how I feel. Okay. Bleeding nose and heavy menstrual bleeding. That kind of fluctuates. Intense stabbing pain sometimes just with cramps. That is horrible. It's like, I don't even, like an ice pick stabbing in my gut. Okay. Blood disorders, autoimmune markers. I have like several autoimmune markers. Psychiatry, anxiety. It waxes and wanes, but I think it also is intensified with histamine. Depression, wax and wane, and in the past, but that was like after my mom died and after the miscarriage. Forgetful. If I don't physically have it in front of me, I don't remember until like 3 days later, if you're lucky. Insomnia in the past. OCD tendencies during a flare. Usually I don't have OCD tendencies, but sometimes it's just like, oh yes. Sometimes there's some panic, but I think that is usually with a reaction. PTSD in the past after the miscarriage. Hormones, decreased libido, ovaries removed, heavy periods, painful periods, one miscarriage, dental, deteriorating teeth. Like, you can have excellent hygiene and for some reason your teeth are just like, I hate you. Anaphylaxis, diarrhea, difficulty breathing, dizziness, fainting, feeling of warmth, flushing or pale skin, itchy hives or itchy skin. I haven't had hives lately, but I've had them in the past. Nausea, weak and rapid pulse, the feeling of doom. Common triggers include airborne smells, including perfume or smoke, emotional stress, exercise or exertion. I checked this, but I didn't remember this was on there. Procaine and dental anesthetic. That makes sense. And specific foods and drinks, except I don't really know which specific foods or drinks, especially alcohol and high histamine content foods. Yeah. And then there's the vertigo and I said the pelvic pain and brain inflammation. Left side of my skull just feels swollen. Not right now necessarily, but for a while there, I felt like my brain was swollen. And cerebellum pain, to MTHFR gene mutations and leaky gut. And those are just my symptoms. And I'm sure I've missed some. So when you go to a doctor and you're like, here it is. Because, at first you go to the doctor and you're like, oh, I have this random thing. But when you go to the doctor, GI doctor, whatever, primary care doctor, you share this entire list of like 105 items, and they're like, I don't know what in the world to do with you. So you begin to feel kind of hopeless and upset, or some of them suggest psychiatry because whatever reason, and maybe psychiatry would be good. I don't know. I'm like, I told somebody yesterday, if they would have told me to kiss a snake in October or November, I probably would have kissed a snake. And I hate snakes because it was so bad. That was very scary. So when I'm calling the doctors and I'm going to the doctor's office and I'm like, I don't want you to think I'm a crazy person, because I'm not crazy. I'm totally a normal person. I'm just having a big issue. And so I told her, I said, I handed her my little 8 pages of history that took all my brain power and energy to create. And I said, this is me telling you I need help. I don't know who else to go to. I don't know what else to do, but I just know something is wrong with my brain and my body, and I need you to help me. Help me. I'm not depressed, I'm not suicidal, but I need help. And so she's been referring me to anybody and everybody, and I'm thankful for that. And she said in the beginning, if you go to this doctor and you don't like him, then we will refer you to a different one, and you just keep going. If you hit a dead wall or dead end, whatever, you just keep going until I feel heard and I'm experiencing relief. And so I really like her, and I like my Texas doctor, and they're both working together because I was desperate to tell them somebody has to listen to me. So I called my Texas doctor and scheduled an appointment, and I'm waiting on results from that, and everything keeps getting pushed back. So that's frustrating. And I'm like, well, then I have days where I'm kind of like, okay, today's kind of like a normal day. I'm still reacting, but it's kind of normal. So maybe I'm like over exaggerating, but then I'm like knocked down flat because I go to Target and there's a smell, or I go to the grocery store and I just look up and feel all wonky or feel like my brain is shutting off. it's like a computer rebooting. I feel like my brain turns off and then it's just back. And you explain that to people and they think you're crazy. I'm just doing my best trying to explain, like, descriptive words. Here, listen, let me tell you. You want to hear. I mean, I'm paying you to hear me. Paying you to help me. So anyway, those are my crazy symptoms. I'm on quercetin. I just upped that to 4 pills instead of 3 because I'm still, like, reacting. 3 times a day at least, sometimes 4 times a day. And Claritin, 30 milligrams 2 times a day. Pepsid, 40 milligrams 2 times a day. Stinging nettles, 2 pills with the quercetin every time I eat anything or think about eating. And then I added that, it starts with a B, I forgot what it's called. And I was using nasal spray, nasal crom or something, but nasal sprays gross me the heck out. I feel like the quercetin is helping a lot, but I still feel like, well, it's kind of like the point where I'm thinking, is this as good as it's going to get? Or do I pursue something else? And would the other thing be covered by insurance? And part of the problem is whenever you're tested for mast cell activation syndrome, a lot of your test results are normal. Or like allergy testing, the allergens that you respond to can change. So that's frustrating. And it's very difficult to collect the mediators that are elevated in the blood work and the urine samples. You have to handle them a certain way. Like you have to freeze them, which they don't tell you to freeze them. Freeze the urine and they freeze the blood sample and send it off somewhere. But if anybody mishandles it, it's difficult to get the accurate reading because from what I've read is the mediators, some of the mediators that they look for only last like 30 seconds. So it's hard, like how do you read that? The testing is very unreliable. Some of them can last up to like an hour and a half, I think. But if anybody messes up in the lab, then your results are messed up or negative. So that was my issue. I went to the doctor, allergy doctor, and he's like, your test results are normal. Except that one number was elevated, but then I had it tested again and it was good. So I'm like, but it's frustrating because it's like, you just want to shake somebody, honestly. Like, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you all these things, and you are not listening. But I'm gracious, and I'm kind, and maybe they just don't know. I don't know. It's new to me. So there's still a bit of grieving because although that doctor suggested it in 2017, I thought he was nuts until, I mean, even when I started AIP 3 years ago, I was like, oh, I'm sensitive to histamine. Oh, I reacted to this meat, sensitive to histamine. But it never really, like, I didn't really look into it because I had so many other things to think about, like I don't know, that I was diagnosed with, that I didn't really look into it. And now I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, that was horrible. So anyway, so I've been watching a lot of videos about mast cells, and actually they're saying COVID long haulers are possibly people that have mast cell activation syndrome and maybe don't know it yet. So I feel like mast cell activation syndrome is about to be in the spotlight, or there's going to be more research done on it. Basically, your mast cells are your protector, your body's protector, and they're at all the openings of your body, your skin, your GI tract, your respiratory tract, and they kind of, they're protective, but they're overprotective, and like you can take a hot shower and the water hitting on your skin can aggravate the mast cells, and then they freak out, and then all these other white blood cells and stuff come running to the rescue to rescue you, and it's like sudden onset of chaos. So no matter how much I try to prepare for it, even when it's occurring, half the time I don't even realize, like, oh, hey, this is pretty major, because my brain is like so foggy. And it has the potential to kill me, like on a daily basis, which is like, that's scary. So anyway, there's that. I'm dealing, I'm coping, I'm crying, I'm praying. And that's what I wanted to discuss too. So a while back, let me think about this. I have to remember the story. A while back, I was having a difficult time. Geez, it was just difficult. I don't know that I want to try CBD just because I'm crazy, but thank you. I have to be very careful because anything I try to do to boost my immune system kind of takes it as an attack. And then it's just full-on war. So I was having a tough time back, I don't know when it was, I don't remember now, but anyway, I was having a tough time mentally and just processing all the things, like trying to deal with it and trying to talk to Jerry about it. But I think this was one of my quiet times. I just felt like God wanted me to be quiet. That's what it was. There was no, I usually have songs in my head and I love music in my head. Last night was a full-blown worship concert, whatever experience in my sleep. It was great. So when my head is silent, that's horrible. It's horrible. I hate it. So my head was like silent, but I didn't even really realize that it was silent. It was just like, I know that there are no original thoughts there. Like, I'm not thinking of anything at all. And that was horrible. So, but when I started the course attendant and the antihistamines and all this stuff, and then I was reacting to a medicine, Lordy B, I was taking Singular and reacting to it, and it helped with the lung fluid stuff, but it made me very anxious and crying over nothing really. Some things, it's just like panic. It was horrible. I didn't realize that was it though. And it didn't start that right away. It was like after 2 months of taking it, it was like progressively getting worse. And angry, oh Lord, that was bad. So anyway, there was a time where music was starting to come back into my head, and I really, really was happy about that. And so I would go to the beach, and there was a song that popped into my head, and it was by Danny Goki, and it's haven't seen it yet. And it talks about like breakthrough is coming, and it's on the other side of the darkest night. Don't ever lose hope. Hold on. Just believe that you just haven't seen it yet. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's encouraging. Breakthrough is coming. I'm on my way. Like, somebody is going to listen to me and help. I was like, okay. So then I went to the beach again because I spent a lot of time at the beach because it's relaxing. And I was like watching these little birds. It's like so silly. But I was watching these little birds, and there was like huge waves. Well, they weren't huge, but they were big waves. And these little birds are just floating on the top of the water, and then the waves would come like crashing down, but the bird would go under the water, or it would just stay on top of the wave and just float. And I was like, these little birds don't care about the waves. They don't care about the turmoil in their lives. And it would be nice to not have to like care. The waves are like crashing down all around me, and there's like chaos and stuff. I mean, like, my family life is okay, it's good, but just mentally and physically and my human body wise was like horrible. So I was like, these little birds. So I had a good time enjoying, watching the little birds float on the water and go under the water and not be bothered by all the chaos. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then a Jason Gray song came to my mind about Remind Me You're Here. So it was like a period of time a while back where there were songs that were like God is near, he's listening. There was another song. I was walking into Walmart one day and it had been quiet in my brain. Quiet. I don't like that. I was walking into Walmart and these song lyrics came into my head about everything you say is life to me. Quiet my heart, I'm listening, basically. And I was like, okay, I need to be quiet and I need to listen. And so, and I had started reading my Bible with our church daily. So every time, not every time, but like I'm seeing things in the Bible that are in relation to or encouraging me in what I'm going through. And so that's been good. But so the quiet my heart, I'm listening part, I was like, okay, be quiet and listen, because I feel like God has something to tell me. And I'm thinking, well, I wasn't thinking, but now that I look back, I'm thinking, okay, God can break through the silence. He's more powerful than brain fog. And he knows what in the world I'm going through, and he understands, and he can help, and he sees the future, and he knows all these things. And so I try to remind myself of those things. But so quiet my heart, I'm listening. I said, I don't want to miss one word you speak, because everything you say is life to me. I don't want to miss one word you speak, so quiet my heart, I'm listening, or something like that. I don't remember who sings it. It's called I'm Listening by somebody. And so I was like, okay, I'll be quiet and I'll listen. So like all day I was just quiet, pondering, thinking about what I could think about, thinking about just the situation and stuff. And I try not to beat myself up, because I'm like, I have no control over this crazy. It's just like, no matter how much I prepare, it's just like I never know when something's going to affect me. So it's discouraging and disheartening. So anyway, my brother shared a graphic that he had made, and it was Moses standing with his arms up, and it talked about let my people go. And I was like, oh. But it brought to my mind the story of Moses. So Joshua was in a battle, and God told Moses to go on the hilltop, and as long as he held his hands up, the Israelites would win the war, and if Moses' arms went down, then the Israelites would lose the war. And so I'm reading, and I was so exhausted at this point, sorry, but I was so physically and mentally and just everything exhausted. And so I was reading the Bible, and it talks about Moses was holding his arms up and he became exhausted. He was so exhausted. And so Aaron and Hur had walked up to the mountaintop with him, and they saw that he was exhausted, so they pulled up a rock, and Moses sat down and they held his arms up for him. And so that was a beautiful picture for me. Just a reminder that I am seen and I am heard. And this lighting is horrible and my face looks really red. But I am seen and I am heard. And I do have a support team. I have friends and family, and I have some doctors that are working with me, and they're helping to, I can't even cry a decent cry because I start itching. That's annoying. So, anyway, so I have people holding my arms up, and I was like, oh, thank you, God. Like, that was a good little nugget of some truth and wisdom. And then let me think what else. So there's like little bitty nuggets of verses that God will give me that are encouraging, or songs that have been very beneficial to my life. And if you don't listen to encouraging music, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you start, because I don't know what in the world I would do without my encouraging music. So there's a song called Egypt. Actually, there's a Bible verse that was popping. So now I think, okay, so there's a few thoughts in my head, which is good. Um, there's a song called Egypt that is great. And also, oh, there was a Bible verse that stuck out to me the other day that said, march on, encourage, march on with courage, my soul. And I was like, okay, come on, keep going, lady, keep going. Eventually somebody's going to listen and they're going to know what in the world's going on and they're going to know how to help you. And so, what was the other thing? Oh, so now, like before the songs where God is near and he is faithful and he is good and keep, like it was hopeful, hope, and breakthrough is coming. And so now the songs that are more on my mind and heart are about, well, definitely hope. You keep hope alive. God, turn this around. Quiet my heart, I'm listening. I made a playlist and they're all beautiful songs. Psalm 23 was another verse that God gave me about he gives me strength and directs my steps. I think it's Psalm 23 verse 3 or 4. And I needed some supernatural strength and some direction. So that was encouraging. And let me think some other songs. Jason Gray has a lot of really, really good songs. Remind Me You're Here. Because sometimes you just feel alone and forgotten. But I'm not. So that's good. What's the other one? Egypt. Darn, I'd have to look at my playlist. I knew I should have printed it out. Nope, they're gone. Anyway, maybe I've been sharing the songs. Corey Asbury, I think he sings the Egypt song. Oh, there's something Church of the City, and Maverick Music has some good songs. Anyway, I'm choosing to listen to life-giving music, and I feel like all these songs are, it's not so much God is near, but it's, well, like I have the Holy Spirit. So he's living inside of me. So I know he's near, and I know he's faithful, and I know he hears, and I know he has the best in mind for me and you. And so that's encouraging. But it's good to have encouraging music too. That just kind of helps remind your whatever mind or heart, whatever you already know to be true. So I'm trying to lean into Jesus and keep the little communication open and not bottle up. And I'm trying to talk to Jerry about all of it because it's easy to just keep it inside. And I'm trying to make sure, like, because a lot of times it's like silent. It's not always silent though, because there's reactions and people can physically see, like, hey, you're itching your eyeballs out or you're coughing your lungs out, whatever. But it's like silent illness, silent suffering. So I'm trying to make sure I'm talking and not keeping it in, even though it hurts to talk about, and I cry a lot. But it's important to let them know and to get it out. And I hate that it's always, it's like I always feel so negative. And I'm not a negative person, but I'm like, well, I'm just sharing. And of course, he's kind and understanding and stuff. But I'm like, I hate feeling like I'm negative because I don't like to be negative. But this junk is negative, and it's discouraging, and it's difficult. Like, I don't think I've been dealing with this for a long, long time. But it's like progressively getting worse. It's like, it's a baseline, and then it's like, ooh, go a little bit higher. Ooh, go a little higher. Ooh, higher. And then that's the new baseline. and then go a little higher. This lighting is disgusting. So it's tough, but I'm hanging in there, and I'm determined. I'm itchy. So anyway, I have an appointment tomorrow, and this is how this went down. Like, I didn't plan on talking this long, but here we go. Here we continue. Okay, so I'm in a Facebook group, and I'm going to be itching. I'm in a Facebook group, California Mast Cell Activation Group, and it talks, somebody asked like a doctor in this area. So I was like, I am calling this doctor because my doctor referred me to Stanford. They don't treat MCAS. They don't diagnose it. You have to have a diagnosis before you get there anyway. And my doctor's sending me there because she's not sure what in the world's going on. So all these doctors don't treat it. So anyway, this guy is supposed to know about MCAS. So I called the office and I'm like, ask, does the doctor know this condition? Does he treat this condition? And she called his office to ask, and he does, so that's good. And they take my insurance, which is really, really good. I don't even know how far away he is. I don't even care. I'm like, I will drive there. It's somewhere in North California. I don't know. But we're going to have a virtual appointment tomorrow. So I'm trying to get all my records straight because they're not all in my file. They're like all over the doggone country. And I'm trying to get my 1-page document of all my chaos together and get my 8-page document together. So if he has any questions, I could look at that and just make sure I don't forget anything. So I would appreciate some prayers because tomorrow I have to be there at 9 online at 9:35, but I think my appointment's at 9:45-ish, 9:50. So I'm hoping that this is insightful and that he will know how to help me. I think my functional medicine doctor is doing well, and I think my primary care doctor is doing well, but she doesn't know, she doesn't prescribe 30 milligrams of Claritin. She isn't allowed, and that's what is kind of helping to keep me sort of stable. But I need some kind of somebody to help regulate this stuff, and what if there's something else out there that might work better? I don't know. So we'll see. Pray for me, pray for us, because it's a lot. There's another song that just came into my head. It's called "Do You Get the Glory for This?" or something like that. "You Get the Glory" by somebody named Jonathan something. And it talks about, I know this is heavy and it's difficult, but if this cup won't pass, help me to stay steadfast and let your will be done. And let God get the glory for it. So, I think in all the chaos, that's what's helping me get through. A whole lot of Jesus and a whole lot of antihistamines and quercetin and stinging nettles and whatever else. And prayer. And I want to dance, people. I want to dance. I don't have energy to dance, and that's so sad. And I miss it. So, prayer request. Doctor's appointment tomorrow. I want to dance. I want God to get the glory. And I want to feel better and be better. And also point people to Jesus, but not in a crazy over spiritual way. I'm just like, this is the mess that I'm in. This is the reality, and this is what I'm doing to manage. Okay, well, kids should have been up a long time ago, and they're not. They stayed up at night doing homework, which is so sweet. Okay. So, thank you for watching, and thank you for being an Aaron or a her in my life and helping to hold me up when I am exhausted. I should dance, but I have to have energy conserved for the day. I got a sign. Look, I found a picture and I'm like, okay, this is, the kids are awake now. This is like what I'm going to be doing soon. Hold on, I'll show you. This is what I was trying to hang on. You see, ain't it cute? I was trying to hang it above the stove, and look, there's somebody drew this frog dancing picture. I was trying to put that on the on the cabinet top above the stove the other night, and that's when I took that other supplement, and it was kind of helping me to not be a stiff 90-year dead person walking type of thing. And then I got stuck on the countertop. So I didn't put it up there. But I want to dance. So anyway, okay. Y'all have a great day. Bye.